So, hi Ryan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, I know you help out with coaching the boys football team, like the littler leagues out in Seneca. Um, what made you want to do something like this, like coaching relating?
Uh, I've just always loved football. And I want to be a teacher, so I felt like it was kind of killing two birds with one stone. I could pass on my knowledge and love for the game to young people while also kind of myself getting like a preview of my future job and kind of learning how it goes and getting more experience working with kids.
What would there's pros and jobs to every job in every world. What would you say there are for coaching?
Like the pros and cons of coaching.
Yeah.
Um, well, the pros are you get to compete and you get to, I mean, obviously competition is always fun. And you get to see like the kids competing and like you get to kind of like light that fire in them and like kind of pass on the torch, and that's really cool seeing younger kids start to like fall in love with the game. So that's the huge pro. Uh a con is the parents for sure. They're awful and they will make sure they tell you how awful you are all the time. Um, Not all of them, but there's definitely like a couple bad apples every year. That's a really big con.
How do you deal like with the parents? I know you guys try to make like the playing time fair for each kid and everything. There's always that one parent that kind of. So how do you help resolve that?
Well, yeah, because the whole point of the league is development and to make every player better than they were. But obviously, there are some kids that are at a point in their development where if we put them out there at a certain time or in a certain situation, they're just going to get themselves hurt, and we don't want to do that. So how we deal with the parents is just try to stay calm, no raised voices. And I just try to explain it. I try to be honest and be like, look, we were in a goal line situation. Their starters were still in. If we put your kid in, he was going to get hurt, and we don't want that. Like, I want to put your kid in a position where he can succeed, not where he can just get bullied by kids 2 years older than him. I try just to be honest and rip the band aid off in the nicest way possible.
Which is a good thing to do. So I know you want to be a teacher, but do you see yourself like moving up kind of like the coaching career ladder while you become a teacher as well? Or
Absolutely. That is the goal. Um, I've had opportunities to do so already, but I don't want to take too much responsibility until I'm done with college.
um, what would you recommend to somebody that was interested in teaching, interested in coaching, like interested in doing both? What would you recommend to them that was like coaching related? Like, would you do it? Would you not?
Oh, I'd say absolutely do it. It's really rewarding. You learn a lot about yourself and a lot about just how to work with people, how to like solve problems. I think it's going through school, I think it's really helped me like in classroom settings and stuff like that because I already have like a bit of experience in the conflict management and like how to like de-escalate situations and how to get through to kids who are maybe being more stubborn and don't want to listen. It's great on that front as far as experience goes, and yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely helps out. Sorry, I've
Um,
never been interviewed before. I don't know what I'm doing here.
you're just special, I guess, today. Um, what does your average practice look like? I know it's different because they're little kids, but like, how does a practice go?
Yeah, so we'll always start with conditioning and stretching, just to help keep everybody fit and in shape. So we'll do some laps, and then we got like team stretching and all that happens, and then we break into individuals, linemen, running backs, quarterbacks, receivers, or like D line, linebackers, DBs, and then we'll work through some like skills based stuff there with each like individual position, and then we'll break them down into three equal groups, and then we'll go rotate stations and do tackling, ball hawking, and just basic skills that everyone needs. And then after that, obviously each of one of these breaks you're getting water. And then after that, we take them to a team period and we run through all of New install for the plays, all the plays they already have. We try to get the best scout defense we can out there to give them a look against what we're playing this week. And then we do something fun at the end, like a flag football or like a gator ball or something like that for them to enjoy. And then we end it.
Especially like during practices and games. You want to make sure like they're motivated. And it kind of sounds like you keep them motivated like during the practices. You're giving them their breaks. You're going through different things so they can pay attention on it for long enough. But how are other ways you help keep them motivated?
I mean, football's all about just being fired up. So, uh, to kind of just be a maniac out there is kind of, you want the kids to kind of keep that energy and like piggyback off of you. And everyone has their own coaching styles. Like the other guy who is the head coach with me, who like I work most closely in tandem with, he's more level headed and cool, calm, and collected. And he's the words of encouragement guy. I'm the like run around with my hair on fire guy. I make handshakes with all the kids to like every time they do something cool. We do like a celebration together. Always cheering on the sidelines. I want to make sure my voice is the loudest so they know their coach has their back. And that's just kind of it. Like everyone has their own style, but for me, I always when I played ball, I played, with a lot of passion. I played really aggressive, and I kind of like try to coach that way too. And that way it kind of rubs off onto the players, and then by the end of the season, you'll see a lot of quiet kids start turning up a little bit and getting louder because of it. And that's
No,
kind of the goal.
I say that's like a good goal to have, I feel like, 'cause then they will definitely bring that on with them, even when you're no longer their coach, to keep that fire energy and like support one another kind of deal.
Yeah, I just think like if the kids see how much I care, then hopefully it'll help rub off and they'll care. And I mean they already do care, but I want them to be okay showing it. Like instead of like after a loss crying, maybe that, pisses you off to go work harder the next week and better yourself as a player.
No, which is a great thing for you to show them. But what strategies do you also use to help develop team chemistry? Make sure like they all get along, they all become maybe not the best of friends, but like they all become one good whole team.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of things throughout the year, like little picnics, like in place of practice, like that, um, which help. Eating food with your friends always helps make you better friends. But really, I think what we do for team chemistry the most is we just keep our practices fun. So we try to keep it like so we're not yelling at you too much, so we're not getting down your throat. And if we keep it light and we keep it fun, that gives the kids a better opportunity to get to know each other, to laugh around, to joke, and it gives them a better room. We're pretty lucky at Seneca because most of the kids we have been playing together since they could walk. So they're already kind of friends, so we get a little extra foot in the door there. But yeah, we just try to keep it light, have a good practice environment.
Which is good, even though they all technically like really grew up together, they're all friends, but you're helping them stay that way. So like if there was a tough game and somebody made a mistake, they're not getting mad at each other, which is also huge, especially like when they're little and you're getting yelled at because you messed up for something by a teammate, you're not gonna really want to do it ever again, I feel like. I could be wrong though.
Oh
What
yeah. No, and those are one of the few times that we as coaches will like actually yell is we want to make sure the players understand it's not their place to critique their teammates, it's ours. That's why we're there. Is if something's wrong, we'll tell you it's wrong. We make sure our players know not to rag on each other, not to like if a player fumbles or one player screws up, it's not the other. Like, it's not if the quarterback fumbles, it's not the center's job to yell at them. It's
Yeah.
our job to talk it out and figure out what happened. So we make sure the kids understand, and obviously kids will slip up, and you just kind of have to nip that in the bud as it happens. But
Which is good because you definitely don't want these little kids, well, not little kids, but these kids coming after each other for their throats because they made one mistake. And that's
yeah,
honestly a really good idea to just tell them before, like, hey, I'll tell them if they made a mistake. It's not your job. Um, I know you played football, so you really do enjoy love coaching. But why do you love in doing it? Because they're younger, it can get hard sometimes. I can tell. Like you can tell, little kids, they don't always listen, so it gets harder sometimes. But what makes you still enjoy it?
I guess it kind of takes me back to when I was their age playing ball and like just seeing the love of the game kind of like starting to grow and like the difference between the first practice of the year and the last practice of the year and how much these kids care. I mean, how much I care, it's football is a passionate game no matter what it is, whether you're on the field or you're coaching, it takes everything you got on the field physically, on the coaching mentally, and it's really rewarding to win. And it's really rewarding to see like the kids. I don't even know how to describe it, I guess, but just watching them, how much they love the game grow as the year goes on. It reminds me of when I was their age. And it's just a really good feeling to know that I'm bringing the love of the game to new people, new young people who hopefully like are going to carry that torch. And like, hopefully, I've already coached five future coaches, people who
Yeah.
love the game enough that they're going to keep carrying on the tradition and going through and being a football lifer.
No, that's honestly a good reason to, I feel like, to coach and then keep coaching is because you love it and you want to make sure that positivity of the love of the game goes forward instead of like if there wasn't a good coach in there and they spread that negativity. I love honestly how you spread your positivity throughout the sports.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you picture like coaching in the future, like when you were playing, or were you kind of like, no?
No, no, I didn't think of anything other than playing when I was playing. Honestly, I didn't think about my future very much at all in high school, let alone when I was playing. But no, I kind of just assumed when I was playing ball that I would just never stop playing ball. So when it inevitably happened, like during COVID and all that, and I couldn't play my senior year and all that happened, it was kind of like, yikes. So I can just never play again. Like it's just football's just over for me. But then I kind of walked into this coaching gig uh, and just ran with it and haven't looked back since.
Honestly, that sucks that the COVID year happened and everything. We all lost that year of sports. And then I feel like definitely a good amount of kids after COVID was like, yeah, I'm not playing anymore. If they didn't like truly love their sport, or maybe they were too young enough to not get into the sport. But now with good coaches and everything, I feel like it's starting to bring that love of sports back to kids that
Mm.
really isn't there as much as it used to be during like COVID times. Because I mean, you couldn't play football, you couldn't do basketball, you couldn't do much besides like golf, really.
Yeah, it was rough. I definitely considered being a golfer, but yeah, it was a rough time for everybody, and obviously I was really banking on that senior year to get scholarships, and that just didn't work out how I wanted it to, both with COVID being how it was, and then my own personal like direction in life. So, and it was actually the year after. It was right after my senior year when this coaching gig was offered to me, and I just took it. I was kind of like, what the hell? I guess so.
But you honestly took a negative thing that happened and you turned it into such a positive thing for yourself, if you truly.
Completely accidentally, but yeah, I guess so.
And then I got one more question for you. Do you
Yeah.
think you are making a good example on how these kids are going to see sports for the rest of their lives?
Oh God, I hope so. Uh, I wouldn't call myself a great role model by any means, but I hope they can at least look at how much I care about not only the game, but like how much I care about them. Like I hope these kids know that I would die for them. I'd get in any kind of scrap they need me to, and I hope that translates like that passion. Like I'd go to war for them, and I know they would for me. And I hope that passion is what I leave on them, and that's what they carry with them. Just that like fire and that energy to want to play. Uh, I hope they certainly don't like to copy my study habits or anything. But if they can take one thing, I hope it's just the energy and just the love of the game.
which is a good thing to spread down to them. But I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day and doing this with me. I